it turns out the real Boomer was inside us all along.
And that's where we all have chest bursters at the same time.
And they're all just old men.
Comb-overs. Business suits.
Yeah. Hawaiian shirts.
Oh my god. Got a rebel right there.
So, that's a cool Boomer. Rare breed. Now, you didn't need a full night's rest, Torin, but considering no one would really bother you and you're in Leia's hut and there's no real urgency, you would wake up in the morning. You'd probably wake up earlier than... Well, Richter probably... You wake up earlier than most of the village, which would be when Richter usually would probably wake up and do morning workouts, and Amaryllis... You don't really know if Amaryllis does or doesn't sleep. Amaryllis just is
inconclusive.
Amaryllis is just outside the hut, like you can see her through the... there's not really a proper door to Leia. Well, there is a door to Leia's hut, it's just never closed. There's two. They're just usually open for airflow and stuff. And you could just see Amaryllis there, not even looking in, just is out there, you know?
Hair branches blowing slightly in the breeze, like completely unmoving.
Does Amaryllis breathe?
Yeah.
Just, it was something I thought of earlier. I was when Ian
I
was
think
like,
you might
sniff.
not notice it.
Yeah.
But,
I imagine it's like slower than, like, it's like she only breathes like once every however many seconds rather than near constantly.
Yeah, it's a slower process. You probably more hear it than see it.
She sounds like a woodwind instrument. Sounds like a recorder when she's done some heavy running. She's done some heavy exercise.
That's a different type of dryad.
Torin would like come up to Amaryllis and just be like, what happened?
She blinks, seeming to come out of whatever place she was in, thinking about whatever she was doing, looks down at you and says, Richter carried you out. We judged it best not to continue fighting a creature like that with you, Fallen.
Right. Torin hangs his head.
If you had not taken the blow, then it would have been me who fell, young Torin. You need not feel guilt. We did not expect to find such a manner of creature in that cave, and now we are aware and can go back and remove it and the danger that faces the village if it remains.
Thanks, Amaryllis. I appreciate it.
Torin feels a swift smack at the back of his legs as Leia comes out of the hut. It's with like a reed or something. It's like, you keep getting hurt! You need to be more careful! You're going to come to this hut dead one day, and then everyone else is going to be dead. I need you to look after everyone.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I've ended up like this. If we don't do something, then people are going to starve. Or worse.
Can you roll me a persuasion check, I mean? The one that would make much more sense in this context, unless Leia was actually like a vampire or an unkeg or something.
It's just an unkeg wearing Leia's skin.
Oh,
like really poorly
what
stretched.
big mandibles you have, Grandma.
Overnight, all of the villages have been replaced by unkegs.
That would be such a goofy quest. And I keep giving you like perception and insight checks, and you just keep failing, and they're like DC 10. It's Mr. Barrington all over again.
Oscar passes you the letter with his mandible, or like with his like.
Oh, thanks. Oh, a bit of drool on there, Oscar. You're getting old. She crosses her arms and nods. Should be more careful and listen more to the wind.
Right.
but at least you can rely on that strong, strapping boy Richter to help you out. He says, deliberately praising him to tease you.
I'm just interpreting it as lay her ex Richter now.
My God.
Grandma needs fuck too, alright? That's my presidential system.
Shows that young spear.
Two-handed. Yes, this ends the conversation because there's no way we can continue from that. What do you want to do come morning? I imagine probably Richter would probably come to find you, considering you were injured.
Yeah.
So after a breakfast, and food is currently not a really massive concern. With this weather at the moment, hunting is doing fine. Fishing is doing fine. You don't have surplus, but you don't have demand. Or extra need, or whatever actual logical term would be to use.
Excess demand? I don't know.
You haven't got hungry people, so you can have a nice breakfast, get ready for the day. Richter can stomp on over while you're sitting on like a rock outside Leia's hut with a bowl,
All at oats.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for taking me out of there. Sorry to let you both down.
Nonsense. If it weren't for you, Amaryllis could have gotten the brunt of that.
That's what she said too.
That's because she's smart like me.
Thanks,
Torrin,
guys.
don't we fall in battle, we just get back up again.
Every weight could cost someone their life. It's just... I feel very responsible now.
You are.
I wish I wasn't.
You are.
Right. Have you had breakfast?
Yes. I'm good.
All right.
I would like to roll insight on that.
Oh my God.
Just a meme.
We'll throw some birdseed at Amaryllis's roots. She's just like, what is this? Plants don't eat this. It's literally made of me.
I'm sorry, I've mistaken Amaryllis for a bird. What is that line of logic?
Interestingly, though, a bird comes out of the branches.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, you got a pigeon living in your ass.
All right. What's the plan, team?
Uncake murder. That wasn't Amaryllis.
both me and Ollie both went.
Yeah, it's rare that Ian has such
Daddy
big
Ian
dick
comes
energy.
out. Yeah.
Do we have rope in the village? Because I just want to grab some.
You could go. You know what? Where you'd get it? Griff. Griff would have all that kind of thing. So you can go and get that from Griff.
Excellent.
He doesn't need it because his wood carving machines and whatnot no longer really in function.
Is it normally 50 feet you get or something? What is it?
Yeah, it's a 50 feet.
he's got machines.
I will say,
pedal power.
I mean, like literally, yes, is the sad thing. I will say though, this is a pretty low quality rope. You know, your village doesn't grow flax or hemp or anything to actually make ropes out of, so they're either traded in or they're weaved or whatever, so it's old. You would
That's fine.
It will for service, but you would be worried to rely upon it too much.
Okay. That's why there was something else I wanted to grab before we went, but that's fine.
Shovels, maybe.
Sorry?
Balls,
Shovels.
Shovels.
Shovels. Thank you. Yeah, all right.
Cool.
Shovel.
You can go and grab a shovel and sling it around your shoulder.
Okay. So, we have to understand that that beast is the only one in the cave. I must apologize, actually, Vale. I think I didn't quite anticipate there being... Why are you laughing? This is very serious.
Don't tell him! Don't tell him!
And so I laugh. It is strange. You called me Vale.
Did I?
Yeah. To be fair, I think that's the first time anyone's done that blunder in this campaign, which is
I called
impressive.
him Richter and Vale. I'm gonna call him fucking Sid next.
Oh, don't remind me. We talk about Legends material. Although Sid is canon because he showed up in Here Be Heroes, or was relevant to Here Be Heroes.
I love a good Sid accent. It takes me like a good couple tries to really ramp it up.
Well, when you talk like Sid, you've got to make a voice that's the most annoying possible. And it's not entirely squeaky. Sometimes it gets a little bit low, but then...
Oh.
Intentionally not muting the microphone this time when I
This
cough.
is why no other gnome sounds like this. That is not the accents gnomes have in Jarviskjir.
I love Sid having it though.
Oh, it
suited that boy.
was suited that boy, but people told me they stopped watching the show because he hurt to listen to. So...
To be fair, if you can listen to Dean, you can listen to anything.
No! Dean's got a lovely voice.
Look at his face.
Oh.
What a lovely face, what a lovely place.
I'm going to reach across and pat Dean. I don't know where he is. He's over there on the street. There.
Entirely wrong.
Yeah, you were right
Every
the first
way.
time.
But that's fine.
Oh, I can't tell.
So, you shovel up, probably grab 2, give Torin like a small one, and Richter has a big one. Just seems sensible. Torin's carrying more stuff.
Gonna hand me a troll. Great. Trowel? Troll?
Trowel.
Trowel.
Wow.
It's a bit bigger than a trowel. It's like a half shovel, right?
Like a trench spade.
Is it a half shovel, or is the shovel that Richter have a dire shovel?
Ian, can I say that is unusually bad humour for
You
yourself?
are not usually the one who
This is
propagates the
rare
shit
for-
show. I'm
What can I
worried.
say? I've been infected.
You head back to the mine and look into that darkness with dread, knowing what may lurk within. How do you want to go about this?
Same as last time, I think. Me in front with the torch. Torin, Amaryllis behind.
You did drop a torch in there. Do you have another one?
Well, I guess that's what I was.
That
trying
was
to remember.
lantern, yes.
Yeah. Either a lantern or a
what
torch. Yeah.
lantern type do you have?
Well, my assumption was that we would have at least one in the village. If not, that's fine.
Nah. Your village is very low tech. You might... Nah, you just wouldn't.
Then, failing that, I would have... Richter definitely would have thought to bring a torch, but I was failing in the dark ignorance of my mind.
Okay, I will allow you an extra torch.
Yeah, I still had my torch from...
Yeah, you can just light the same one.
Yeah.
So,
And...
Ankeg's Burrow, yeah?
Yes.
And we now have rope.
Yes.
Well, if we chuck something out attached to a piece of rope, we can lure the thing towards us rather than risking it climbing out of the ground and chopping our legs off.
Potentially, but this rope is not. It's not exactly the sturdiest.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if we lose whatever is on the other end. We're not going to be chucking one of us in there.
I believe the idea is that ankegs move upon detecting footfall. So something on a rope while we stand still would draw its attention.
If we stood on one side of them planks, because vibrations won't travel through the different... No. And then we chuck something out, maybe tie... It's got to be something a little heavy. Maybe we tie a rope to the head of the pick, or just an appropriately sized rock. And then we lure it out, and we don't risk getting our feet chopped.
Sure. I can't think of a better plan than that.
Well, it's like a standard trap that Bell would use just for a carnivore. And we don't need to trap it, so you just have the lure part.
Okay. I'll go ahead and start tying the rope to one of the picks. The copper picks, was it?
Yeah.
'Cause you can tie around the end of that really easily because of the
You'll
shape.
clatter.
You get a really...
Ah, shit, I don't have permission for the torch.
That's because you threw your torch behind. Very illegal. Now you do.
Very You know, I kind of liked the changes that they made to Roll20's
Yeah,
thing.
people was so vocal about hating it, but it was actually better.
Yeah.
But
People
you
just
just had
don't
to
like
learn some new buttons.
I liked it.
You somehow selected the old torch.
I can't select the new one. I just was trying to make it easier for you.
You
Well,
have made it worse, but that's okay. I'll only hold it against you a lot.
Oh, my knee hurts like fuck.
Did you just
That's
hit it?
not my
Or
fault.
is this just the arthritis?
Well, it's an old soccer injury that haunts me.
Well, that's what you get for playing sport, you fucking jock.
I think
In this house, we play DnD. I couldn't clap. I only have book.
I mean, I approve of like
I
that.
only have book in house. Only good is player handbook, which help me not. Don't know why I have it in lap. I'm not player.
But are you?
From a certain point of view, some people say, "Oh, don't forget, DM's a player too." Those people are wrong. I am a god. So, are you going to do your
Yeah,
clatter,
for all-
clatter?
Rater.
Give me a animal handling check with advantage for this ploy.
with advantage.
Yeah, because it's a good plan.
Thanks, I thought of it myself.
I don't believe that's canon.
So much talking canon. I've been reading so much like Star Wars wiki.
Yeah,
about
it's a
canon
Star
is
Wars
written down.
time. I always talk about Jarviskjir canon, though, to be fair.
Yeah. you do.
With that cluttering noise, you hear a skittering. Multiple sets of skittering.
Oh no.
Can you give me initiative rolls?
There's more than one?
I knew that
Thanks-
would be the case.
thanks,
You guys,
Dad.
you guys got so baited by Oscar saying that. I was lying there unconscious.
No, I mean, out of character, like, it's not that strange, but
What do you mean baited? I would never do such a thing.
Meanwhile, Oscar is actually an Ankang in disguise.
Yeah, that wasn't even a meme. They've all been replaced. Leia didn't whip me with a reed. It's like her long insect
It's
tongue.
the best way to get you not be suspicious is to make it a joke. No, of course.
The memes of this campaign are brilliant.
Okay.
It's like
You
the
can
three
see
of us chatting.
deep into the dark from where you left a torch yesterday. That torch still burns, although a lot of its fire has gone out. And you see, very briefly, a small skittering shadow swoosh
I saw it.
in the dark. Torn.
Seeing as I can't see it now, it must have been.
What's
Oh
the
my
plan,
God, it's
Torn?
Oh, no.
Yeah, everyone
Oh, it
rolled
is?
hot
Okay.
garbo. There's also only 3 of you.
So he's still got hand on that rope, yeah?
I mean, I imagine so.
I'll move forward then, but I won't, because so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll hold here for now, I think.
Hold.
I guess I've got an action, so I'll prep a trigger that if an enemy enters my
You'll mace him.
yeah, I'll
Torrent does not have a Glock.
oh my God, can you imagine if he did?
More or
boy.
less.
I just want to check. This entire cave is muddy, so the stone.
This part is muddy.
So the stone is actual stone, as in. Okay, it's good to know. 1, 2.
There's
3.
obviously a gradient from here to there, but
Yeah, fair.
Remember this
And
as far as you can from the mud.
I will cast Bless on the 3 of us.
Left.
And
Then- bless.
just in case, I'm going to take root.
In the stone.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
You can. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you probably would even notice because you'd hear it, like the roots crunch into the earth,
Just breaks the
twist
toenail.
and grind. Yeah, I mean it's probably not pleasant, but it's better than getting knocked down.
We'll get back up again.
Richter, unfortunately, it is your turn.
Make a Constitution save.
Rocks fall and
Oops! I think I just put. I put Bless on the torch there by mistake, so I'm going to undo that.
blessed light.
How firm is this soil that I'm on?
Under you, solid mud. This is not the soft soil that you have problems with later in the dungeon.
If I drove a shovel into this, would it remain where it is?
Yeah, it's pretty deep.
It's probably not going to hold an ankeg though.
No.
No. Okay. I'll keep. While I'm holding the rope, I will step ahead of Amaryllis if she's willing.
Yeah.
Actually, so we're not clustered. I'll do that.
Cake has like lightning, but oh no, it has a line of acid.
Wait, how much? What? 5, 10, 15? I assume I can keep the rope like that. Ropes are bendy.
I mean, yeah, the rope isn't connected to anything. You can move wherever you want. And it's connected to a Who's-Its, but the Who's-Its isn't connected to anything. Pickaxe. Okay.
That'll do.
You give it a little tug tug.
There
Tack,
is
tack.
a insectoid screech recognizable as an angegs. Running over, crushing the torch beneath its feet.
It licks its feet first.
I can neither confirm nor deny this. And
Who's left this pissing fire on? It's dangerous, this.
it's gonna keep moving. It's gonna like jam its way through here, get lodged in the tight crevasse of the mine before squeezing its way through with a lot of effort, joints popping, sections of its head plate that have been damaged straight up snapping off as it lurches violently towards you.
Ankeg's head plate grows for its entire lifetime. This way, an adventurer can use the head plate
Torin.
of an Ankeg to... I'm a little bit scared because I'm shooting with the old Sacred of Winds. Taste my hot farm.
Fails. Takes the 8.
Yeah.
You know, you have that moment while it's squeezing through to focus and weave. Winds of amethyst flame. Amethyst to amaryllis.
I
Gonna
sounded a little bit dildo.
put down the torch
Dildo-y?
carefully. Put down the torch carefully, pull out the bow. And that's all I can do. Because I'm careful and I'm a tree.
Victor.
Ooh. Yeah, why not? I'm going to step to this entrance here.
You see a small juvenile Ankeg. Its armor plate's not quite formed properly yet. It takes you a moment to even recognize it because without the head crest, it looks very different. But even then, it's still the size of, a medium dog, right?
Medium dog.
I know, I knew.
Great band name.
That's an
Ladies and
alternative
gentlemen,
rock
welcome to the
band
stage.
if I've ever heard one.
Medium dog.
Look, there's scale! There's a scale! Skittering towards you.
I'm diagonal, so I can't. Wait, you can attack diagonal, right?
No.
I can throw my spear at that.
You can
Ankeg.
throw.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw my spear at the big old one.
Sure. Is your spear throwing?
Yes.
Old spears are.
I've never seen anyone actually throw the spear. Usually use
Spears
javelins
are the
instead.
most
That's a hit.
versatile weapon.
Well, you know what? I want to hear it. It's a good hit.
And with my axe and sedge, as I throw it with my other hand. No, wait, I don't think I can because equipping a new item or a new weapon.
Free
is
action
Ooh, never mind.
to
I
do
will
it
pull
once.
out my
a
big
turn.
old whip. I'm gonna whip, and I'm gonna whip this little juvenile in the
Didn't
fucking
whip too
face.
much time. Oh, I my brain didn't even compute that, and then I looked
It's
at
a
his
hit.
face.
Yeah, it's massive. It's like knocks it down, knocks it over a big a big slash across the thing.
Now I see why it's called Ractor.
But will that save you? Ta-da!
I was hoping I would lure its attention with that throw, but alas.
It already it's lowered Torin before. It wants blood. It hits exactly an 18.
It's just gonna walk up and just acid me right in the fucking face.
It actually charges up after that pause to kind of recover from it going through the wall. It actually just goes up and with the mandibles.
Ooh.
Now you kind of see this coming, Torin, and kind of brace yourself.
I believe this has happened to me before.
This has happened before, so you actually resist the damage quite a lot, taking only 6 slashing damage plus, unfortunately, quite a lot of acid damage plus 3 acid damage.
Only, he says, naming a total amount of damage that would down me instantly.
You are grappled by the Ankeg.
Uh-oh.
Oh
in its
no.
mouth. The small one is going to get back up. It's going to bite at
Grapple
Richter's
you.
ankles. But doesn't hit.
Ha.
Torin. You're in its mouth.
I will. I don't want to just die again, so I'm gonna cure wounds myself. Or am I? No, I'm not. I'm balls to the walls. It's fine. I'm gonna cast Sanctuary on myself.
Ooh.
And then I'm gonna mace this boy right in the head.
You do have disadvantage.
Oh, do I? Oh,
Your
'cause
grapple
it's a
die.
creature grapple.
You're grappling it. It's grappling you, and you're like being lifted off the ground.
It's a creature grapple, yeah.
You're fine. It's a hit.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a great one. You can get a really good hit in like the injured parts of its head plate here. Trying to perturb it, trying to push it away. It is incredibly injured. This battered Ankeg, but does not quite go down. Amaryllis.
I have a very cruel thought. Does the Ankeg's open mouth as it's grappling Torin count as a container?
If you succeed on a check based on your magic ability, then yes.
I'm going to create water in the Ankeg's mouth.
Please give me a, I believe, wisdom check.
Yep, it would be. I'll just click the spell. And a wisdom check.
You have a hilarious quip.
No, it's
unfortunately, I
Amaryllis. It rolled a 2 on trying to save that. Actually considering how injured it is, please describe this, Ian.
So it's really quite strange because if you'd seen when Amaryllis creates water normally, you just sort of see it almost shift in from another existence. So suddenly this Ankeg that is biting at Torin, suddenly just water seems to shift into its mouth and just appear there, and it just sort of collapsing.
Water oozing from every part possible.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Gross.
you just waterboarded that poor
That's beyond.
I saw the opportunity and I took it, and that ends my turn.
Richter.
Very well done. Pooey.
Excuse me? What was that?
I will longsword this boy. It's taken my whip, and now it will take my long sword.
Only a kid thing.
That's a hit.
Oh,
Jesus.
Max.
Head
Vicious.
removed from
Max
body.
long.
It's a Vorpal longsword now.
You can hear more burrowing, but Amaryllis will immediately be able to tell it is the burrowing of things leaving, not staying.
But we might find Mum.
Smaller creatures, probably more juveniles. Yeah, but you're not in turn order.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. I'll go and retrieve my spear from wherever it landed.
Yeah, it's like in it.
Oh. I'll rip it out.
Very heroic. A lot of water pours out of the spear hole in the side of the Ankeg shell.
Oh my god, this Ankeg is Jesus. A spear was thrust into him because apparently when someone's dead, it splits into water and blood. So they stabbed a spear in to check, and water came out, and blood came out separately. There you go. That's your Bible study for today, kids.
Thank you, Mr. Neal.
Okay. I heard more burrowing on the ground, I think.
It seems that the other smaller ones, perhaps there are juveniles, were fleeing. They might become a problem in time, but the current thing to be concerned about, if there is one of them and a juvenile, then the grown one might have had a mate or similar.
Can you give me a nature check, Amaryllis?
Or that they're like they don't have need. Yeah, that was.
They're not snails, am I?
Well, yeah,
That's
yeah, it's
themselves.
probably got a mate.
Continue.
I've said my dumb comment already.
You don't know that that wasn't a single dad Ankeg. It's so much easier to do any motion if you just it up a bit. I live by this rule.
Well, I think we should press forward. We have no choice but to try and clear the place.
Agreed.
Ambrose just nods.
You trek forward deeper, plucking up your torches. Many of the other pathways, I mean, there's not many, are low headway mining tunnels deliberately following veins of copper. But when you go in one direction where, it almost seems to be where this cavern would naturally lead, there is just a wall of rock and rubble. Completely blocking the way. Some huge chunks, some smaller chunks, some of that loose soil, filling in all the gaps.
Is it freshly turned soil?
No.
So this looks like this has been in place for a long time. Well, we could try to go through. We've got a couple shovels and a pick. I don't really know much about... He eyes the ceiling suspiciously. I don't really know much about mining, though.
Or we could seek out the Ankeg's burrow.
Well, it might be behind here. It makes sense if they can burrow that they block off the entrance. By any means other than burrowing. Like ground beavers. He smiles to himself.
If we're not confident in the integrity of the cave, perhaps it's best for now to leave it as we found it. Once we do the best we can here, perhaps we can return with, well, I've never actually asked anybody, but perhaps somebody in the village knows a little bit more. Perhaps they were miners in a previous life or something. I don't want to cause a cave-in.
I don't want to go back empty-handed.
Well, there is another path.
All right, let's check it. And on the way back, we could take that Ankeg's body. Bilara managed to get some choice cuts from it last time, and that was a big one. Maybe someone in the village could cook it up.
Yes, take the juvenile as well.
No. I ain't touching no kid.
So, you want to dig into the burrows? Dig and search and follows. and see what we find. Gonna need survival checks from all of you. If you're all digging and looking, and would you squeeze your way into any tunnels you find, or you just kind of
Did we go the direction of the right tunnel, or did we go down?
You've gone and looked in both.
Okay.
The way right is the way that leads to this cave in.
Okay. Survival. These casted minus
20
ones.
arrow.
Should I? Yeah, I want to alter fate on one of them. It doesn't really matter whose.
Unfortunately, for the first little bit, and this is, a check that takes a little while, even with Alter Fate, the soil is so soft and so malleable that it's immediately, first, hard to tell where the tunnels go, or where the tunnels even are. Okay, there's something burrowed here, but you can't really tell much of a tunnel. Eventually, though, you do get a crack of success, being able to tell that you're not sitting above any kind of dynamic Unkeg cave system, but the burrows do go in both directions, and a person of medium size could squeeze into them and travel through them. The way... One way, which would be north, up on the map you have, which actually wouldn't be north, appears to be a much longer route, much longer way somewhere. The other way seems much shorter and goes the direction of the cave-in. And this is loosely, right? Winding bug tunnels. Your checks, even with Alter Fate, it means you succeed. Doesn't mean you succeed well.
Yeah.
You can't find anything in the tunnels, but two ways you could go.
I'm gonna have to crawl through them. I'd rather go the short way.
The long way, I would suggest, may lead to the smoother stone and the statues. It would seem a logical leap. As such, it is not perhaps a priority for us. After all, we need the denizen of the rock pool as a priority.
Short way it is.
Short way.
Okay. You squeeze your way in. I assume Richter's going first.
Mm-hmm.
This would be absolutely horrific.
Yeah, this is horrible. Because not only is it a tunnel, it's a tunnel in really loose soil. So every motion you make makes more soil fall on you. And almost makes the tunnel cave in. You have to move very slowly and very carefully. And maybe even leave some equipment behind to make it through efficiently. Luckily, this isn't a very long tunnel. It pops up in another section of cave. This is much more natural. Looks like it hasn't been touched by mining picks. You can even still see glints of copper in the wall, which admittedly doesn't shine very much. It's more the colour difference when you see it with a torch. And the pathway seems to continue quite a bit. There's not a large section of loamy soil here, only a little bit. Only a little pocket or so that the Unkeg seem to have burrowed into. Richter would immediately be spooked by seeing another Unkeg, only to realize a few moments later that this is just a molted exoskeleton slumped against the wall. Can you give me a perception check, Richter, as the first one through?
Yeah. Of course I can.
At first, you see some small cave insects eating the molted exoskeleton, as is the way of nature. But when you really focus, and you try to not pay attention to the noise of Torn and Amaryllis going through the tunnel, you can hear You hear a noise like a metallic clunking very far in the distance. But you only hear it once. And then there's a long pause, like 3 minutes. And you hear it again. It seems pretty rhythmic. But, again, a very slow pattern. It's not like one noise, it's a couple.
And this is within here or the surrounding area?
Not in this area you're in right now. I mean, you haven't really gone further down.
Right.
When you actually look behind you and take a couple of steps, you can tell that the cave-in is on the other side of this. You are on the other side of the cave-in through the short tunnel, which means the long tunnel goes somewhere else. But whatever is making that noise sounds very far away, but connected. You know, that kind of noise wouldn't travel through stone. Or the thick stone that most of the cavern walls are.
Have these two joined me yet? Or are they
At
still
this
coming
point, you
through?
know, you can help Torin through, and
I'll warn them of the sound and be like, we don't know where it is, just be careful.
We can't get out. Not quickly. The way is shut. Drums in the deep.
clunks in the teeth.
Exactly.
And then Amaryllis can work her way out.
Gradually.
Sprout
very
from the
gradually,
ground.
She'll find a route.
Oh.
Yeah, moving on.
What's the plan? Venture further into the darkness?
I think so. With my torch in my hand.
Now, I know that's not really our speciality. But if there's some noises down there, should we try to be quieter?
Yes, it seems sensible.
There's no reason not to just shuffle.
Yes. Shuffle.
Are you
Clink,
ready
clink,
for a
clink.
minus one stealth with this?
Stealth! Give me that stealth. You're like the one party that isn't stealthy.
Balance in all things.
You move carefully. You don't really move quietly.
I sound like a cupboard full of china.
Deeper into the tunnel.
I'm
But
like
also,
a
Richter, you're holding a torch.
That's true.
You will never be stealthy. You can just try to make it harder for things in the distance to notice you. But in
Unless
traveling
they can't see.
a little way, yeah. The other... Fuck, that made me spooked for a split second. My lizard brain was like, what is that difference?
You're like, whoa!
The area before, there was the mud that had insects in and stuff like that. This seems sterile.
Cut stone floors.
You slowly move on to flatter stone. It still seems natural, but like it's been flattened. Or maybe, just maybe, it was smooth stone given a very, very long amount of time. It is much drier here than the other segment, but there's still a tiny bit of humidity in the air and a little bit of warmth. You know, it's not cold. It's not warm, but it's not as cold as outside. The way starts to go downwards, and occasionally you notice what might be steps. Very short steps, but they've been so worn away by time it's hard to tell. This could just be natural formations, because there's still stalagmites and stalactites and things like that. And eventually, this...
Are we about to become the first cave humans?
This opens up. There's still large chunks of rock that have fallen, and you have to often move past these large segments where the cavern has collapsed. But it starts to open up into what is definitely, even though it's heavily worn by the passage of time, deliberately smoothed out stone in large bricks, worn and broken by the passage of time. And if you give me just 1 second, we'll go on a break. Ha 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 ha!
I was expecting a combat.
Well,
The only
that's what
combat
that's-
I'm going to have is in the bathroom.
I knew that.
This break is necessary for Ollie to prepare the battle map for this one.
It's already prepared.
Yeah,
I just want to clear my mind
And you
in the bathroom.